Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that completely flips a very common mindset right on its head. You know that feeling, right? It's Friday, you clock out, the weekend is here, and you think, finally, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. A lot of people call it Freedom Friday, but today we're looking at a totally different angle. What if Freedom Friday isn't just about escaping your obligations to someone else? What if it's literally the perfect opportunity to start building something that belongs entirely to you? It's not the day to stop working. It's the day you finally start working on your own vision. To really grasp this, let's look at two very different types of freedom. The source material shares the super relatable story from Markel. Back in the day, he worked these grueling 11-hour shifts in a corporate call center. But because he was a top performer, he got a perk. He actually got to pick his own shift. So he would strategically pick a Tuesday morning schedule just so he could hit up his favorite Chinese buffet right when they opened. Quiet, no crowds, just him and his food. At the time, he felt like he had an amazing level of freedom. But looking back, that was really just an illusion of control, wasn't it? He was still totally tied to a schedule someone else made. True freedom, true autonomy means complete ownership of your time and your assets. It means your work week doesn't arbitrarily start on Monday and end on Friday just because some corporate rulebook says so. And getting to that level of true freedom, it requires a pretty massive mindset shift. The core mantra here is simple, but incredibly demanding. Just listen to this. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, broke hand, construction work going on around me, I'm still committed to the process. Markel actually backed this up by hosting his daily 10-minute building challenge for 54 weeks straight. Think about that. Over a year without missing a single beat. That is relentless, uncompromising consistency. He points out that true builders stand out because they actually commit to the process when everyone else is just talking about it or making excuses. It kind of reminds me of that Kendrick Lamar song. True action takers can proudly say, "They not like us." Most people let minor daily distractions win. True builders show up no matter the weather or the circumstances.
But here's the reality check, and it's a big one. Consistency alone, while amazing and absolutely necessary, isn't quite enough to break free. You need leverage. Working incredibly hard without leverage is just spinning your wheels in the mud. And today, the ultimate lever at our disposal is artificial intelligence. AI is the tool that can take your consistent daily effort and just multiply your productivity exponentially. If you aren't using AI to turn your rough ideas into actual tangible building blocks, the gap between you and the competition is just going to keep getting wider every single day. AI is literally what allows a solo builder to effectively do the work of an entire specialized team.
So let's see how this all comes together in the real world with the Blank Book case study, Market Demand in Action. We're going to look at a highly fascinating, viral story about an author named Rihanna Texaria. And I want to be super clear right up front. We are looking at this strictly as an impartial business case study. It perfectly demonstrates how combining creativity and leverage can solve very real-world problems. Get this. Texaria managed to sell exactly 1,000 copies of a self-published book in just 2 months. Selling 1,000 copies is a massive achievement for any independent author. But here's the crazy catch that makes this such a unique business study. The book contained completely blank pages, literally no words inside. It was designed entirely as a physical prop, mocking political claims that Donald Trump is divinely chosen to save America. Now, regardless of where you personally fall on the political spectrum, let's just focus strictly on the sheer business mechanics happening here. She sold 1,000 physical copies of a book with absolutely nothing written inside of it, all because she deeply understood her audience.
So why did she go out of her way to do this? Well, this is where the story gets deeply relatable and really grounds the whole viral stunt in reality. She used this creative leverage to successfully pay off $4,000 in personal medical debt. She had a very real, very pressing why. She didn't just accept a regular income that wasn't covering her bills, and she didn't throw her hands up in defeat. Instead, she took her after hours, her personal freedom time, and decided to proactively build a unique product to directly solve her financial problem.
This brilliantly illustrates the strict business mechanics of her success. How exactly did she pull this off? First, she identified an incredibly passionate niche. As a former devout evangelical, Texaria engaged in a very specific active conversation about MAGA Christianity.
Second, she found a unique market void for a physical, humorous product right within that highly charged niche. And third, and this is probably the most important part, she took action with zero prior book writing experience. She didn't let a lack of traditional credentials or industry gatekeepers stop her from leveraging her unique idea into a tangible asset that paid off for medical bills.
Which leads us perfectly into the NBA analogy. Stop competing and start creating. This directly addresses how the vast majority of people approach online marketing, affiliate marketing, or really any side business entirely wrong. You know what most people do? When they're starting out, they try to jump straight into the most heavily saturated, highly competitive markets imaginable. Think about it. Trying to sell the exact same affiliate product as millions of other people is exactly like trying to enter the NBA. Millions of kids grow up practicing every single day, wanting to be like Mike. But the harsh reality is, there are only a limited number of teams and a heavily restricted number of roster spots. The success rate for achieving financial freedom by doing the exact same thing as everyone else in a saturated market is incredibly slim. So instead of trying to compete against the absolute best of the best in the NBA, you need to design the basketball. You need to create unique, highly targeted niche products that only you can offer to a very specific crowd.
The source material shares a vivid, real-world example of what designing the basketball looks like in practice. It highlights a black shoe manufacturer who recognized early on that he couldn't just compete head-to-head with giant billion-dollar corporate sneaker brands. So what did he do? He found a specific, underserved market. He began manufacturing shoes featuring the images of famous, often unspoken-of black leaders and entrepreneurs right on the soles. Because he was supporting a worthy endeavor and filling a unique cultural void that the major brands completely ignored, his company gained massive grassroots support. He wasn't trying to be like everyone else, he leveraged a specific passion into a completely unique asset.
So, what does the actionable path to true financial and time freedom actually look like? It flows logically like this. Step 1, you absolutely must learn foundational marketing skills. There is just no skipping the basics. Step 2, you leverage AI tools to multiply your output so you aren't working yourself into the ground doing manual tasks. Step 3, and here is the absolute most critical part of the entire equation. You must apply those skills to your personal passions and products, not just someone else's system. Master those 3 phases, and you achieve step 4, buying back your time. Time freedom is what actually gives you the ability to enjoy your life on your own terms, without being chained to a desk for 12 hours a day.
A massive part of staying on this path and actually succeeding is surrounding yourself with a community of people who are out there doing it. The source mentions a perfect real-world application of this concept, Wayne Crow's live training. And notice when it's happening, on a Saturday, the weekend. While everyone else is checking out, hitting snooze, or binge-watching TV, consistent builders are tuning in at 10 a.m. Eastern to learn new free traffic strategies and stack commissions. It's all about plugging into a network of people who share that exact rain, sleet, or snow commitment to the process that we talked about earlier. Which brings us to the ultimate question for you as you look ahead at your own schedule. Are you going to relax this Friday, or are you going to build? True freedom isn't just the end of your corporate work week. It is the beautiful, rare opportunity to finally work on something that belongs to you. Don't let your hard-won free time become a void of endless scrolling. Leverage your ideas, leverage AI, and start building the assets that will eventually buy back your time forever. I hope this explainer gave you some powerful tools to rethink how you approach your weekend. Keep learning, keep building, and we'll see you in the next one.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me, yeah. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash, like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire. waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I answer that honestly? I realize purpose don't scream, it whispers. It ain't in the crowd, it's found in the mirror. It ain't in applause or validation checks. It's in what you do when there's nothing to flex. Motivation temporary, purpose permanent. One phase away, the other's inherent. You don't wake up feeling it every day, but purpose don't care how you feel anyway. It moves through you even when you're tired, even when life feel misaligned and wired. It's that quiet push you can't explain. I say do it again through the doubt and pain. So I stopped asking how do I feel and started asking what's real, what's mine to build, what's mine to create. That's when I found something stronger than fate. I don't need a reason, I am the reason. I am the reason. I don't need the feeling, I don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. No more waiting, no more waiting, no more chasing, no more chasing. Internal driver, that's what's leading. Yeah. Now I move like it's already decided. No hesitation, no need to be guided. I built a system inside of my soul that don't break down when I'm losing control. External noise don't shake my direction. I learned to operate without the connection. Not disconnected but self-sustained. Energy internal, never drained. I don't need hype, I don't need cheers. I done built this through blood, sweat, tears. Every rep carved into my frame. Now discipline calling me by name. This is what it looked like when purpose drive. You ain't just working, you feel alive. Even in struggle there's something deeper. You not just moving, you moving with meaning. Listen close. Purpose don't shout, it pulls. It don't beg, it demands. And once you feel it, you can't go back. There's gonna be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway. There's gonna be days you question everything. Keep going anyway. Because the ones who make it ain't the most motivated, they the most committed to something deeper than motivation. I don't need a reason, don't need a reason. I am the reason, am the reason. I don't need the feeling, don't need the feeling. I move with meaning, move with meaning. No more waiting, no more waiting, no more chasing, no more chasing. Internal driver, that's what's leading. When the world go quiet, when the noise disappear, when nobody's watching, that's when you find out if you really got it, or if you was just borrowing it. Borrowing it.
A lone male figure kneels in the vast, desolate desert. A furious storm of golden sand swirls violently around him, creating an imposing, natural vortex. The air is thick with dust, and the skies are muted, overcast gray. The figure's face is visible, etched with determination. The swirling sand rapidly coalesces, forming a shimmering, golden cocoon that completely envelops the kneeling figure. The cocoon pulsates with an inner light, radiating warmth and energy against the stark desert backdrop. With a powerful explosive burst, the golden sand cocoon shatters outward in a dazzling display of light and particles. The figure stands tall and renewed in the center, their posture strong and confident, bathed in the soft, natural light of the desert.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 55, day 1, and we are right at 17 minutes into today's challenge. And you know, as I peel back the curtain, right, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to all of the information being shared in the intro. And I'm doing a few things outside of that. You know, I've gotten a little comfortable doing my lives now. So during the intro, you know, I go through my procedures. And today I decided, hey, today is Take Your Heart Back Monday. So I wanted to do a few things for myself. I wanted to, you know, make myself some breakfast. I wanted to make sure that, you know, I wasn't waiting too long. I wasn't getting so caught up in my work and my business that I didn't, you know, take time to take care of myself. So I was in the kitchen making something to eat. And then I came back and I sat down and I'm listening and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't check to make sure that I was streaming on Facebook, that the stream was going through in the private group. Now, you know how that works. A lot of times, Facebook has been given issues. So, for a good part of the last couple of like month or so, it's been having some type of issues where I'll usually have to go in and reshare the link into the private group. So I'm sitting here and about to go live, about to come on camera, and I said, let me check, let me see. Maybe Facebook, you know, it did its thing and it, you know, put the live into the private group like it's supposed to, like I have it set up to, and it wasn't there. So I had to share the link so that people in the private group can actually be able to join. Yeah. The, in their probably viewpoint, it started 15 minutes late, but no, I started on time. Been here. I showed up when I supposed to. Matter of fact, you know, just like at your 9 to 5 job or 9 to 8 job, you know, they say, hey, coming in the door right on time. That's considered late. So you need to arrive at work at least 5 to 10 minutes before your shift starts, right? That's what you should be doing. But me personally, I arrive about 15 minutes before my shift, so to speak, starts so that I can get things prepared, so that I can be relaxed and I can do what I need to get done in order to, you know, be prepared for today's shift or that particular day's shift. So I do that every single time I go live. Now, today, I'm not going to give you anything too heavy to think about, not from me personally, but I want to continue on with the trend of what was spoken about in that intro training. And it was talking about AI, and it was talking about basically creating leverage systems that allow you to have more freedom. And that's part of what we talked about on Friday's live. See, Friday, I was supposed to do this right here on Friday, but I couldn't help myself. I decided that, you know, I wanted to continue to give value. And I gave you an amazing message and an amazing training that if you didn't see Friday's live, you need to go back and check that out. But if you didn't, Then that intro training was somewhat of a recap. It was a short form training version of what I spoke about on Friday. So if you want to hear the full length training, go back to Friday's live so that you can get the full picture and maybe pick up on some additional pieces that the intro training didn't give you. But on Friday, I wasn't supposed to give you that training and that insight. What I wanted to do rather was to be able to provide you with the opportunity to experience something along with me, understanding how a real leverage system works and how you can actually use AI to leverage not just your business and helping you make money online, but using AI to help give you back your time. So today is Take Your Heart Back Monday, but I also want to make it Take Your Time Back Monday. So with that, I'm going to share a training specifically created and delivered by one of my favorite business partners, which is the AI. And this training, it goes a little bit deeper into, the aspect of creating that freedom. What does true freedom mean and what does it look like? And this right here is something that is going to help you get in perspective as to how you can earn back or buy back your freedom, specifically when it comes to your time. So, this training is about 20 minutes long. So, it actually buys me back 20 more minutes of my life. Because if it wasn't for this training, then I would be talking to you guys and, delivering the message directly from myself, right? So, I would be giving my 20 minutes to you. Whereas now, I can pull up this training and I can actually allow my business partner, my leverage system to do it for me. And that's what we want to move towards. We want to move towards allowing our tools and our systems to be able to help us build true freedom, not just financial, because the financial part usually takes a lot longer to obtain than being able to gain back your time if you're doing it properly and correctly. So, today, I know it's Monday. I know you're probably at work or you're headed to work, about to go in, or maybe, you know, you've just come in because you did a night shift previously and you just need something to get you through the rest of the day. So, this is what I have for you. I'm going to pull up a specific training delivered by two of my AI business partners, right? So, this right here is titled Corporate Flexibility is a Longer Leash. Once again, corporate flexibility is a longer leash. So, that right there, you're going to understand what that means by the end of this training. And once when the training is over, we're going to close out as we always do. And I want to encourage you to join us again tomorrow for our live at 9 a.m. EST time because we're going to be discussing as usual, what's going to be going on throughout the day because we know what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is training day Tuesday. So that's when we have a specific training that's going to be hosted by one of my business partners, Mr. Wayne Crow. And I'll give you the details on that. But for now, let's get into the training. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
You know, that exact moment on a Friday afternoon, right? It's usually right around like 4:59 p.m.
Oh, totally. It's the collective exhale of the entire working world.
Exactly. I mean, you send that final email, you snap your laptop shut, and there is just this very specific, almost physical wave of relief that washes over you.
Yeah, your shoulders literally just drop.
Right. The weekend is here. You survived another 5 days. We just, we absolutely live for it.
We build our whole culture around celebrating that specific moment.
We really do. But let's unpack this. What if that very feeling, that profound relief you get on a Friday afternoon, is actually the thing keeping you trapped?
Oh, that is a heavy question.
Right. Like, what if celebrating the end of your work week, treating it as this big escape, is exactly what's stopping you from achieving actual permanent freedom?
And that tension right there is exactly what we are dissecting in today's deep dive.
Yes, it is.
We are looking at some, honestly, really fascinating insights from a creator and entrepreneur named Markel.
Yeah, specifically from a broadcast he did. It was day 5 of week 54 from his Hustlers 10-minute-a-day challenge.
Right. And his entire premise in this broadcast just completely flips the script on how we process the end of the week.
Totally.
He essentially argues that freedom isn't the end of work. It isn't just clocking out. True freedom, like both time freedom and financial freedom, only comes from ownership.
Ownership. Yeah. And so the mission for our deep dive today is to really pull apart the difference between the illusion of corporate flexibility and the actual reality of entrepreneurial freedom.
Which is a huge distinction.
Massive.
Yeah.
And we want to show you, the listener, how a simple shift in mindset, a dose of creative courage, and, the right technological leverage can help you build an asset.
An asset that belongs to you.
Exactly. Something that nobody can dictate or manage or just take away from you.
If we look at the broader landscape of modern work right now, I think most people view a flexible corporate job as the ultimate win.
Oh, for sure. Getting to work from home, picking your hours.
Right? You think you've beaten the system. But Markel's realization, which he articulates so well, is that flexibility within someone else's system is really just a longer leash.
A longer leash. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, like you might have more room to roam in the yard, but you are definitely not off the leash.
And he learned this firsthand, which I found so interesting. He actually points out that he hasn't worked a standard 9 to 5 since September 30th, 2018.
Wow. Specific date.
Yeah, it's burned into his memory. That was the last day he ever worked an 11-hour shift in a call center.
11 hours in a call center sounds brutal.
Right. But here is the catch. Leading up to that departure, he had what a lot of people would consider a total dream setup for a corporate gig.
Yeah, he was a high performer, right?
Exactly. And that afforded him some pretty special privileges.
Because in his particular call center, they utilized this shift bid system.
Right. So if your metrics were in the top tier, you essentially got first dibs on the schedule.
Which is wild. You're basically handed a massive menu of options with shifts ranging anywhere from 6 a.m. all the way to midnight.
So, of course, he completely gamed the system.
Naturally.
He intentionally structured his life around 4-day work week. So sometimes he would choose a Tuesday through Friday block.
Or he'd do what he called a weekend wrap.
Yeah, the weekend wrap, working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
And he did this specifically so he could have his days off right in the middle of the week.
Exactly. While the rest of the world was stuck at their desks, commuting and stressing out, he was just chilling.
The way he paints the picture of that midweek time off is so vivid. He shares this hilarious story about his favorite Chinese buffet.
Oh my gosh, I loved this part. It perfectly encapsulates that feeling of corporate flexibility.
It really does. So he would go to this buffet on a Tuesday morning, right at 11:00 a.m., the exact second they unlocked the doors.
The smartest move. The food is perfectly fresh.
Oh, completely untouched. And there were zero crowds.
Yeah, and because he was such a regular at this random off-peak hour, the owners basically gave him VIP treatment.
He could sit wherever he wanted, eat in total peace, and just soak in the quiet, while everyone else was dealing with a stressful Tuesday morning inbox.
It sounds like a massive victory, honestly.
It does. But this is where his perspective really shifts.
Right.
Markel realized that even though he got to pick his 4-day schedule, and even though he was enjoying his VIP buffet treatment on a random Tuesday, he still didn't actually own his time.
Because the parameters of his life were still being dictated by the company.
Exactly.
It's kind of like getting to pick which room you want to rent in a massive, beautiful house.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. Like you might negotiate to get the master suite with the best view, the best sunlight. It feels like a huge choice.
You feel like you've won.
You do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you still don't own the house.
No, you don't.
The landlord can still step in, change the rules, raise the rent, or just decide to kick you out entirely.
And that lack of equity is the defining factor here. You might be comfortable, perhaps even privileged within the system, but you lack true autonomy.
Right. He couldn't just decide to stop showing up on a Friday if he didn't feel like it.
No, the shift was still a hard requirement. And that realization that being comfortably managed is not at all the same as being free. That is what pushed him to leave that ecosystem entirely and build his own business.
Which, actually brings up a really fascinating contradiction.
Oh,
Yeah. I was looking through his current routine, and it honestly made me pause.
okay, why?
Well, Markel leaves this corporate life because he despises strict, dictated schedules. He hates being told where to be and when to be there.
Right, makes sense.
But then as an entrepreneur building his own brand, what does he actually do?
What does he do?
He creates a live challenge that runs at 9:00 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he has shown up for this live stream every single weekday for 54 weeks.
That's serious dedication.
He broadcasted through rain, through sleet, while dealing with a literal broken hand.
A broken hand.
Yes. And even with heavy construction happening right outside his window.
So that's over a year of unbroken daily commitment at a highly specific time with 0 sick days or excuses.
Exactly. So if I'm listening to this right now, I have to ask the obvious question.
Let's hear it.
If the goal was to escape a strict schedule, isn't locking himself into a daily 9:00 a.m. live stream just creating another job for himself?
I can see why it looks that way.
Right. Like, trading a corporate boss for a self-imposed prison doesn't really sound like freedom at all.
I get that. From the outside, it absolutely looks like a paradox. But, the psychology of agency changes the experience entirely.
How so?
Well, the fundamental difference between a corporate shift and his 9:00 a.m. live stream is the origin of the mandate.
Okay. The origin.
Yeah. It makes me think of the difference between cooking a highly complex, stressful meal for a demanding restaurant boss who will fire you if the steak is overcooked.
Oh,
Versus cooking that exact same complex meal in your own kitchen simply because you want to master the recipe.
oh, that is such a good point. The physical labor is identical,
The time commitment is identical.
but the psychological tax is completely gone because you actually chose the challenge.
That is the perfect distinction right there. A corporate schedule is an external mandate. It's imposed upon you under the threat of punishment.
Right. Do this or you're fired.
Exactly. But Markel's 9:00 a.m. live stream is an internal choice. It is a structure he designed voluntarily to serve a long-term goal that he selected.
So the discipline doesn't feel like a cage because he is the architect of the cage.
Well said. In the source, he actually quotes Kendrick Lamar's song, They Not Like Us, to make a point about this kind of commitment.
Right, distinguishing between the people who just talk about wanting success and the people who actually sit down and build it.
He's highlighting that true freedom paradoxically requires intense self-discipline.
Which is a tough pill to swallow.
It is. A lot of people honestly don't have it in them to commit to a grueling process when there isn't a manager breathing down their neck.
Right, when nobody's watching.
But doing what is necessary entirely on your own terms, like, broadcasting with a broken hand, just to keep a promise to yourself that builds a profound level of self-trust and confidence.
And that internal confidence is the actual bedrock of financial freedom.
Exactly.
So, okay, we escape the illusion of the corporate freedom Friday.
Yeah.
We take ownership of our time, and we build the self-discipline to show up consistently.
Okay.
But that brings up the real tactical question for you listening right now.
What's the question?
What do you actually build? I mean, you have the discipline, but where do you aim it?
That is the million-dollar question. And Markel addresses this not with some abstract theory, but with a real-world example from a trending news article.
And this example completely shatters traditional assumptions about product creation.
It really does. But before we unpack this specific example, we need to be incredibly clear with you, the listener, right up front.
Yes, very, very clear.
The case study from the source material touches on highly charged political and religious themes. It involves Donald Trump, the Magier movement, and evangelical Christianity.
Right. And we want to state explicitly, we are remaining entirely neutral on these topics.
100% neutral.
We are not endorsing, we are not validating, and we are not critiquing any political or religious viewpoints whatsoever in this discussion.
We are examining this purely through the lens of business, marketing mechanics, and creative leverage.
Which is exactly how Markel utilized it in his broadcast. So, keeping all of that in mind, what is the story?
I used to wait for permission, wait for proof, wait for perfect. But one day I wrote it down. Everything I believed I could build, And that page became my blueprint. The most valuable document I ever owned. Wasn't signed by anybody else. It was signed by me.
I wrote my name in faith, not fear. Built my pieces from the paint right here. Didn't need a crowd, just a pen and plan. The most valuable doc came from my own hand.
So the source highlights a trending story about a woman named Brianna Texaria. She self-published a book claiming to offer scriptural evidence that Donald Trump is divinely chosen to save America.
Okay, so given the current cultural climate, that is a title engineered to instantly grab attention.
Absolutely. It evokes a very strong emotional response, regardless of where you stand.
But I looked at the notes on the actual contents of this book, and my jaw literally dropped.
It is wild.
She didn't write a single word of analysis.
Not a single word.
The pages inside the book are completely blank.
The entire interior is just empty paper.
It's a physical prop, not literature. I mean, it's crazy.
It is a physical object designed entirely to make a statement, essentially mocking the claims referenced on its cover.
Wow.
But what is truly remarkable here is the market response. Despite containing literally zero reading material, she sold 1,000 copies in 2 months.
1,000 copies of literal blank paper.
Yeah.
And the kicker is that she used the profits from those sales to pay off $4,000 in medical debt.
That is just incredible leverage.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Just pause and think about the mechanics of that for a second.
Okay.
Think about how many talented people, maybe even you listening right now, have tried to sell a digital product or an ebook or a consulting service.
Or a piece of software.
Right. Something that you poured your heart, your soul, and your genuine expertise into.
Hours and hours of work.
You build what you believe is a highly valuable product, and you struggle to get, like, 3 people to buy it.
It happens every day.
And meanwhile, this woman solved a $4,000 debt crisis by selling bound empty pages.
It forces a total reevaluation of what a product actually is.
It really does.
You know, she didn't sell ink and paper. She sold an identity marker.
An identity marker, explain that.
The people purchasing that book weren't buying it to consume information, right? They were buying it to put on their coffee table, to show their friends, and to tangibly participate in a specific cultural conversation.
Ah, I see. She leaned into a hyper-specific, highly emotional niche.
Exactly. The source points out that her background involved deconstructing faith, navigating religious OCD, and questioning certain movements within her own upbringing.
So she took her own lived experience, identified a massive emotional void in the market, and just filled it with a bold concept rather than a traditional utility-based product.
And the overarching lesson here is really about overcoming the friction of creation.
Yeah, because she had never written a book before.
She didn't know the publishing industry at all, but she saw a void, she stepped radically out of her comfort zone, and she executed.
She took action.
She used her time, perhaps her own version of Freedom Friday, not to just kick back and enjoy the relief of not working, but to build an asset that wiped out a significant financial burden.
It just proves that the main barrier to entry for entrepreneurs isn't a lack of complex ideas.
Or an inability to code the perfect app.
Right. The barrier is often just a lack of creative courage.
Yes, creative courage.
But, you know, creating your own highly unique blank book brings up a really dangerous temptation.
No, definitely.
Once people see a weird outlier success story like this one, their first instinct is usually to try and copy it exactly.
Or to blindly chase whatever the hottest online trend happens to be that week.
Exactly. And that is exactly how you end up in what Markel calls the NBA trap.
The NBA trap is such a brilliant framing for the pitfalls of standard online and affiliate marketing.
I thought so too. Tell us about it.
Well, Markel compares a lot of modern internet business models to the dream of making it in the NBA. He references those old Michael Jordan commercials.
Oh, yeah. The whole Be Like Mike campaign.
Right. You have millions of kids in their driveways, tongues out, trying to hit the exact same fadeaway jumper.
Entirely convinced they're going to the league.
But mathematically, the spots are incredibly limited.
Right. Almost zero chance.
And Markel argues that jumping into a saturated affiliate marketing opportunity operates on the exact same dynamic.
Because everyone is doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. You have tens of thousands of people globally, all with an internet connection, all trying to promote the exact same link to the exact same demographic.
Using the exact same pre-written swipe files and emails.
Yeah. The success rate for achieving financial freedom through that method is incredibly slim. It is a highly crowded, low-probability game because you have no unique leverage.
So if the answer isn't to just copy the herd and hope for the best, how do you actually win?
Well, you have to stop competing for a spot on an established team and instead invent your own game entirely.
Okay, invent your own game. Markel brings up this great example of a black shoemaker to illustrate this, doesn't he?
He does, and it's a perfect example. Instead of trying to manufacture another generic sneaker to compete on performance metrics with Nike or Adidas.
Which is a totally losing battle.
Right. This entrepreneur is putting the faces of unsung black leaders and entrepreneurs on the soles of his shoes.
That is so smart.
He took a very foundational, traditional industry shoe manufacturing and applied a highly unique, culturally resonant angle to it.
So he is finding massive success because he isn't competing on standard utility. He is competing on meaning and representation.
And that perfectly encapsulates Markel's advice regarding marketing skills.
Because you still have to learn the raw mechanics of business.
Oh, absolutely. You need to know how to capture leads, how to write persuasive copy, how to structure an irresistible offer.
Markel actually mentions using a megalink as a foundational tool.
Right, a megalink.
For those who might not use that term, a megalink is essentially a centralized digital hub or landing page.
Yeah, it captures an email address and then intelligently routes your audience to various offers, resources, or content based on their behavior.
Right, so it allows you to build an audience while directing traffic.
And those skills, building a megalink, writing copy, driving traffic, those are non-negotiable.
You have to have them.
But the key is that you don't just use those skills to push the exact same generic product everyone else is pushing.
No, you apply those foundational mechanics to your own unique angles.
Your own passion.
Your own version of the blank book or the custom shoe.
Exactly. You use standard tools to amplify a non-standard message.
And this brings us to the ultimate multiplier in all of this.
Leverage.
Yes, leverage. Markel specifically highlights artificial intelligence as the most powerful tool available to builders today.
What's fascinating here is that he doesn't talk about AI the way most tech blogs do.
No, he doesn't frame it as a magic button that just does the work for you so you can go sleep.
Right. He frames it as a literal business partner.
A business partner. He actually mentioned in the broadcast that he originally planned to let his AI business partners run the daily training for him.
Which completely changes the definition of outsourcing.
It really does. You aren't hiring an expensive agency or waiting on a freelancer in another time zone.
No, you are commanding an algorithm that works instantly.
But how is he actually utilizing it mechanically? Like, what does that look like?
Well, instead of just asking an AI to spit out a generic blog post, Markel uses it as a sparring partner.
A sparring partner. I love that.
Yeah. You feed it a raw premise, ask the AI to play the role of a highly skeptical customer, and force it to poke holes in your offer before you ever go live.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You use it to rapidly prototype ideas, analyze market gaps, and structure your campaigns.
So AI is widening the gap every single day between the people creating a tiny trickle of income using manual, outdated methods.
And the people creating a massive flow of income using AI to scale their cognition.
AI has effectively driven the cost of execution to zero.
Literally zero. Anyone can generate code, copy, or imagery in seconds.
Which means raw execution is no longer the differentiator.
Not anymore.
Your unique perspective, your emotional resonance with a niche, and your creative courage are really the only premium assets left.
That's a great way to summarize it. The AI won't hand you a bold idea like a blank book.
No.
But once you have that idea, the AI allows you to build the infrastructure for it in an afternoon instead of a month.
That is the perfect synthesis. The barrier is no longer technical.
It's purely psychological.
Which brings everything full circle back to how we view our time. Freedom doesn't mean the cessation of effort.
No. Freedom is the opportunity to finally do the work that actually belongs to you.
Okay, let's do a quick recap to lock all this in because we've covered some serious ground today.
We really have.
First, true freedom comes from equity and ownership, not just from having a flexible schedule inside a corporate structure.
Right. Renting the master suite with a great view is not the same as owning the house.
Exactly. Second, that ownership requires consistent, self-imposed discipline. You have to show up when it's inconvenient.
And not because a manager is threatening you, but because you are the architect of your own goals.
Third, breakout success comes from creative leverage and avoiding the NBA trap.
Don't try to be like Mike in a crowded generic market.
Find your own highly specific angle. Compete on, meaning like the blank book or the custom shoes.
And apply foundational marketing skills to that unique idea.
And finally, utilize AI not as a shortcut to avoid work, but as a high-level sparring partner to rapidly scale your unique vision.
And, a vital note on that consistency piece.
Yeah.
Building this kind of autonomous life isn't something you're supposed to do in total isolation.
Oh, that's a really important point.
Markel mentions his partner, Wayne Crow, who runs live, in-depth trainings every single Saturday at 10:00 a.m. Eastern.
Every Saturday.
Yeah, these sessions cover generating free traffic and stacking commissions. But the underlying point there is that consistency breeds community.
Builders naturally surround themselves with other builders.
Exactly. If you want to fundamentally change your reality, you have to start hanging out with the people who are showing up on a Saturday morning to learn and execute.
Rather than just the people who are celebrating that it's Friday afternoon.
It requires a fundamental shift in identity. You have to transition from being a consumer of weekends to a creator of assets.
Don't let Freedom Friday become a day where you simply power down and stop thinking.
Use that mental space to build the very vehicle that will eventually grant you the permanent time and financial autonomy you're actually looking for.
So let's take you back to that exact moment we talked about at the very beginning of this deep dive.
Back to Friday.
It's Friday afternoon. It's 4:59 p.m.
The laptop is closed.
The weekend is stretching out in front of you. But before you just sink into that familiar relief and tune out the world, I want to leave you with one final lingering question to chew on over the next couple of days.
What's the question?
If you had to create your own version of that blank book this weekend, a product that requires almost zero traditional content, but perfectly solves a hyper-specific emotional, cultural, or social need for a unique group of people, what would it be? And honestly, with the cost of execution sitting at nearly zero, what is actually stopping you from leveraging AI to start building it right now?
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can't quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. To my PayPal pin, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spin like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a
Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type. Blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat I ride, I'm freeing the ones with the pain they hide. 10 minutes ain't much, but it changed my name. Turned struggle into strength.